No, I mean, he might not be the first one.
Hold on just a second. That's not what I want to do. Okay, we're live.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Nathan Lombardo. I'm the Planning and Zoning Administrator with the City of South Fulton. Joined tonight with Dana Gray and Marissa Jackson, who are planners on your city staff. This is the CZIM meeting for Monday, July 12th, 2021. We can go to the next slide, please. As usual, please send all of your comments to the planning email address. That's planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov. A lot of people forget the GA, and I mention that every time. So again, it's planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov. If we get questions tonight, as we are here, we'll read them live and we'll answer them. Otherwise, feel free to send them in at any time to the planning email address, or if you have our staff email addresses, any questions are welcome, and we'll get back to you with the answers for that. Rezonings, concurrent variances, and the ordinance we're going to talk about are heard at the July 20th Planning Commission meeting, which is next Tuesday. And they'll be heard at the August 10th Council Zoning hearing. So those are the two dates for your upcoming public hearings for the 3 cases I believe you'll hear tonight. We can go to the next slide, please. First 2 cases are Z21006 and CV21007, rezoning a concurrent variance at 0 Oakley Road. Go to the next slide, please. Here, the petitioner is asking for a rezoning from C1 to TR for the purpose of developing a townhome community. You'll see on the map that they presented is for 34 townhomes. It will be part of the Oakley Township subdivision, which is already built. The petitioner is also asking for several concurrent variances to this case regarding placement of passive site features, such as a road, such as a retention wall, and a retention pond. Additionally, they're asking for a variance concerning the maximum allowable size of townhome units in one building. The current limit is 8, and they're asking for 12. The rezoning request is in compliance with the future land use map. We can go to the next slide, please. The proposal here is right in the center of your screen. It's sort of a triangular shaped parcel between Oakley Road, Oakley Industrial, and Oakley Terrace. You'll see on the zoning map the exact parcel outline, but again, the parcels in question are in the exact center of your screen here. We can go to the next slide. Here's a future land use map and zoning map for the city, zoning on the right, future land use on the left, to show that it's currently zone C1 and that the request is in compliance with the land use map. Go to the next slide. Here's a proposed site plan of the new project. You will see they are proposing to construct a new road connecting Oakley and Oakley Terrace. Otherwise, the townhomes would front both sides of that road. We can go to the next slide. I would also mention that the townhomes would certainly have to be in compliance with all of the city's architectural and subdivision requirements. Here's some sample townhomes that were sent in by the petitioner of other projects they have done, just to give elevations, an example of what type of product we built on this site. We can go to the next slide. Here, I'm sorry, there you go, yeah. These are some proposed floor plans of those units that we just saw. Standard 3-bedroom, I believe 2.5 bath, if I'm not mistaken on these. That's correct. These both have a 1-car garage, or I'm sorry, those are 2-car garages, and there would be parking spaces for the each of the townhomes having additional parking spaces in the driveways of each unit. And I believe this is the last slide of this section of the presentation. I'm sorry, no, here's some other projects that the petitioner has done in other municipalities of similar products. So this is just going to give some examples, not of 100% of what would be built or what is being proposed, but very similar products they've done in other places. So I know we have this one, and I know there's one more after this one. There we go. All right, and that is the end of the presentation we have. I believe Michelle is on the call, and the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thanks so much, Nathan. For everyone listening, my name is Michelle McCauley. I work with LaCroix Engineering. I'm here on behalf of our client, D.R. Horton, who is proposing this rezoning from C1 for the purpose of developing townhomes. Nathan, I would like to just let you know that it is a one-car garage. And so the product that you see currently on the screen, that's the same floor plan for a townhome that was built in Union City in a project called Union Point. The previous slide is also the same product that was built in Noonan. Of course, if we move forward and this is approved, we would comply with the City of South Fulton's architectural standards and elevations as required. But this just gives you an idea of what the project could look like. Just to let you know, we've had 2 meetings with the community. Our first community meeting was on May 25th. We did receive significant opposition. Based on that meeting, we had a follow-up meeting with the HOA leadership for Oakley Township. And currently we are still in discussions with the HOA leadership. We will have a better understanding of where we stand before the 20th when it goes before Planning Commission. But we're excited about it. We think it's a good use and redevelopment of the site that currently could be developed with commercial. But we do understand that there is some significant concerns by the Oakley Township community. With that, I will close.
Sorry, did you say that the proposal? I see that these are one-car garages in these pictures. Are the proposed units you're proposing for South Fulton one-car garages also?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
They're 20 feet wide. Yeah, it's a one-car garage product.
Okay. What is the price point of these units?
There has been no price determined yet at this point. So we are at least a year and a half out from when they would start building, because we go through zoning and of course do land disturbance and platting. So we don't have a price yet for, it'll be market driven, obviously. But there's been no marketing or materials put together for the pricing on this yet.
Okay.
But yeah, we're excited about it. We think this is think this is a good product and a good fit. It's consistent with good zoning practices of providing transition and providing some infill back into the community, and is consistent with a comprehensive plan. But as I expressed earlier, and we did receive some negative feedback in our community meeting, and we're working through that.
Well, certainly the Planning Commission and the City Council will be very interested in what the existing public participation has been and what the upcoming public participation has been. They will certainly take the opinions of the community into strong consideration when making any decisions, as you know.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. All right. Dana, Marissa, have any questions come in from the community about this petition?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. As always, if anyone from the community has any questions, feel free to email the planning email address at any time, or any of the staff members whose email address you have, and we will get back to you with any answers to those questions. Michelle, thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
We can move on to the next slide. KZ21009, a rezoning at 7445 Old National Highway. Go to the next slide, please. Here, the petitioner is requesting a rezoning from C1 to MIX for the purpose of developing a townhome community with a commercial parcel fronting Old National. And you'll see the location does have frontage on Old National. The current proposal is for 68 townhomes. We go to the previous slide, please. The commercial component in front, which we will show on the site plan, does not yet have a proposed use or building, although we do have a sample elevation from previous projects. The petitioner here is proposing an extensive walking trail on an adjoining parcel they already own, as an amenity for this development. And the proposal here is in compliance with the future land use map. We can go to the next slide, please. Again, the subject site is in the direct center of your aerial map here. You see Jackson's Music Store, and this parcel surrounds that parcel between Old National Way, and I believe it's West Road. It's sort of a U-shaped development surrounding the parcel that is Jackson's Music Store. The Jackson's Music Store parcel is not part of this project. I will also note that the long wooded area on Jonesboro Road, in between Jonesboro and the homes on West Road, is part of the amenity package for this development, and that property is owned by this landowner. We can go to the next slide, please. Here you'll see the future land use map on the left and the zoning map on the right. This petition covers the parcel outlined in blue, as well as the 3 parcels immediately to the south of that parcel. And you will see this currently zoned C1, and you'll see on the picture on the left, the community live work allows for mixed use zoning, which is why that was chosen for this project. Go to the next slide, please. Here's a site plan, overall plan of this project. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner, that is the parcel called out, or the section called out for the commercial component of this mixed-use project. In the middle right is the music store parcel that is not part of this project. You will see all the townhome lots laid out around this parcel. The main entrance and only entrance to this project would be off of Old National Way. So you come off Old National onto Old National Way. So all the traffic from this residential part would be onto Old National Way and Old National. There would be an emergency access between the townhomes and the out parcel access onto West Road, but the main entrance to the out parcel would also be on Old National. So we don't anticipate much additional traffic, if any, from West Road. So there really should be no additional impact to those residents directly related to this project. And I say that because I know some of the questions will be raised about where's the traffic going to flow and how will the neighbors be impacted. But the commercial parcel that is already there already has an access point onto Old National, and the commercial component of this mixed use would be based on using that main access point for access. And the residences would not have any access from West Road at all, except for an emergency. And that'll be more clear on the next slide, please. Here you see a rendered site plan, and you can see that the main entrance, again, to the townhomes is off Old National Way. Entrance to the commercial portion would be off of Old National. There would be an entrance onto West Road. That would not be the main entrance to the commercial, and the access to the residential would only be through an emergency gate. So no daily traffic would be flowing onto West Road through that neighborhood at all. In the lower left, you'll see the detention pond in the beginning of the amenity area. If you go to the next slide, please, you can see the proposed drawing of the trail on this adjoining parcel for these residents to use as their amenity here. Now we can go to the next slide. This is a sample rendering sent in by the petitioner of the out parcel building. It could be one building, it could be a building divided up into multiple uses depending on what tenants might be available at the time of its construction. But that specific plan and specific user is undetermined at this time. We can go to the next slide. These are some renderings sent in of similar projects they have done, and the townhomes will be done in a very similar style. Here's an entrance feature of a previous project they've done. We can go to the next slide. Some sample renderings of other townhomes they've done. This is more of a modern townhome feel, I know, or a modern farmhouse rather. I only know that because I personally live in the city of Atlanta near a development that looks very similar to this. So this rings close to home. We can go to the next slide, please. I'm sorry, so this is the next one. We can go back. And Harold, the floor is yours to talk. And I will speak. I always have to joke when I see renderings and they put really expensive cars and really flashy sports cars in the renderings of all these. I always notice that. So I have a Tesla and a Mercedes SUV here. So I love seeing that.
Hello.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, the floor is yours, sir.
Yes, no, I appreciate that presentation. I think you hit all the high notes. This is our second time through the CZIM. We recently made some modifications and added some additional information per feedback from staff. And we feel that the development now meets the requirements in terms of design element and features. And we've added the amenity piece and also the features that for the on-site parking, the mail kiosk, and some of the things that you mentioned for the commercial piece. So I think you gave an excellent presentation, and we'll just see if there's any questions from the community.
Well, thanks. I just try and hit the high points. So I shouldn't have added any new information there. Dana, Marissa, any emails that have come in about this one?
Yes, I have one from Donnell Humphrey Franklin. She states, I think we should require all townhomes citywide to have 2-car garages.
That was probably directly related more to the previous one. I see Michelle is still on, and Michelle, I know your time is up, but I will comment that you will receive questions about that. Harold, in this project, do you intend for all the townhomes to have 2-car garages and space in front?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that seems to be the case for this one on Old National, and it was not the case for the previous one. And so, to the citizens' point. We do get those kind of questions and requests often, and take those into consideration as best we can. We do not yet have that specific requirement in our codes, but again, that is something that is frequently raised and discussed with our petitioners. Anything else for 7445 Old National? Okay, and as always, anyone listening, if there are any additional questions or comments, please feel free to email those in to the planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov email address, or to any of the staff email addresses, and we will take up those points and get back to you with those. And as always, I would just mention that any project will have to be in compliance with all the city's architectural requirements. There's no stagger on this particular picture. I assure you that any approval will have to accommodate a stagger on the townhomes because that is a mandatory requirement for all developments in the city. But I know one that will be easily accommodated, right, Harold?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks a lot. We can go to the next slide, please. Marissa, we can go to the next slide. I know we lost it for just a minute, but if you're watching it, we'll be back up in just a second. She says she has
technical difficulties. There we go.
Sorry. All right, next we have a rental subdivision ordinance. This is an amendment to the existing zoning code that was asked for by council members. So as with any zoning text change for the city, it does have to be run through the planning commission and the city council to have the appropriate number of public hearings. And so this will be the first notification for this ordinance change. If we can go to the next slide, please. Here, the council has requested a prohibition on subdivisions being developed for rental purposes. And this includes new and partially completed subdivisions. The biggest, I'll say, issue or concern that we have noticed is that developers will buy up large portions of previously platted and previously started but incomplete subdivisions and hold on to all of the homes in defiance of the HOA and then rent them out. So we wanted to sort of nip this problem before it became something that was a real notable issue. We've also noticed, not in the city of South Fulton, but in other municipalities, entire single-family subdivisions being built and then rented out, and the developer just being the landowner and holding all the parcels, or all the homes rather. And so that is something that was expressed as undesirable by the citizens, and so this ordinance was brought forth by the council. So in the part that is relevant to the public hearing at hand and to the zoning ordinance, it would be section 80107. We're going to add the following condition in there, and I'll just read this. It will say, no developer or builder shall develop or construct a new residential lot or house in a subdivision for rental or lease purposes by the developer, builder, or any entity having a business relationship with the developer or builder. This shall be a condition to receive a certificate of occupancy. And so that text inserted into our zoning ordinance will prohibit builder-owned rental subdivisions in the city. And I believe that this is the last slide. Or I don't know if there's any questions, Dana, that have come about this one. I can hear you through the wall because there you go.
Mhm.
Just so the entire universe knows, Dana's office is right next to me. So when he's talking, I can always hear what he's saying, but
Right.
it wouldn't have been picked up by the microphone. So, okay, if no comments have come in, as always, please email planning@cityofsouthfultonga.gov or any of your staff with any questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And I believe that is the last slide of this evening. It sure is. Thank you all so much for giving us 23 minutes of your time tonight. Any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, have a great rest of your night.